Day 298.
John 7, OANT. After these things Yeshua was walking in Galilee, for he did not want to walk in Judea, because the Judeans were seeking to kill him, and the Jewish feast of the tabernacles was near. And his brothers said to Yeshua, "Remove yourself from here, and go to Judea, that your disciples may see the works that you do. For no man does anything in secret, and wants it done openly. If you are doing these things, show yourself to the world." For his brothers also did not believe in Yeshua. Yeshua said to them, "My time is not yet come, but your time is always ready. The world cannot hate you, but it hates me because I testify about it, and that its servants are evil. You go up to the feasts. I am not going up now to this feast, because my time is not yet finished." He said these things, and he remained in Galilee. But when his brothers went up to the feast, then he also went up, not openly, but secretly. But the Judeans were seeking him in the feast, and they were saying, "Where is he?" And there was much murmuring in the crowd because of him. For there were those who said, "He is good," and others were saying, "No, but he deceives the people." But no man spoke openly about him, for the fear of the Judeans. But when the midpoint of the feast had arrived, Yeshua came up to the temple, and he taught. And the Judeans were astonished, and were saying, "How does this man know the scrolls, having not learned?" And Yeshua said, "My teaching is not mine, but from him who sent me. Whoever is willing to do his will understands my teaching, whether it is from God or whether I speak from my own pleasure. Whoever speaks for the pleasure of his own mind is seeking glory for himself, but he who seeks for the glory of the one who sent him is faithful, and there is no evil in his heart. Was it not Moses who gave you the written law? Yet no one amongst you keeps the written law. Why are you seeking to kill me?" The crowds answered and were saying, "A demon is in you. Who is seeking to kill you?" And Yeshua answered and said to them, "I have done one work, and all of you are astonished. For this reason Moses gave you circumcision, not that it is from Moses, but it is because it's from the forefathers. And you circumcise the son on the Sabbath. And if a son is circumcised on the Sabbath day, because the written law of Moses should not be broken, do you complain about me because I have completed healing a man on the Sabbath day? Do not judge with partiality, but judge just judgment." And the men of Jerusalem were saying, "Is this not he who they seek to kill? And behold, he speaks openly, and they say nothing to him. Is it possible the elders know that this is truly the Messiah?"
27. But we know from where this one is. When the Messiah comes, no one will know from where he is. 28. And Yeshua lifted up his voice as he taught in the temple, and he said, "You know me and from where I am, and I have not come of my own pleasure, but he who has sent me is true, whom you do not know." 29. But I do know him, because I am from unity with him, and he has sent me. 30. And they sought to seize him, and no man laid hands on him, because his hour had not yet come. 31. But many from the crowds trusted in him, and they were saying, "When the Messiah comes, will he do more miracles than these which this one has done?" 32. And the Pharisees heard the crowd speaking these things about him, and they and the chief priests sent guards to seize him. 33. And Yeshua said, "A little longer I am with you, and I will go join him who has sent me." 34. And you will seek me and you will not find me, and wherever I am, you cannot come. 35. The Judeans were saying among themselves, "Where is this man prepared to go that we cannot be, indeed to a region of the Gentiles? Is he prepared to go teach the pagans?" 36. What is this statement that he spoke? "You will seek me and will not find me, and wherever I am, you are not able to come." 37. But at the great day, which is the last of the feast, Yeshua stood and he proclaimed and said, "If a man is thirsty, let him come to me and drink." 38. Everyone who trusts in me, just as the scriptures have said, rivers of living water shall flow from within him. 39. But this he spoke about the Spirit, whom those who were trusting in him were being prepared to receive, for the Spirit had not yet been given, because Yeshua had not yet been glorified. 40. But many from the crowds who heard his words were saying, "This is truly the prophet." 41. Others were saying, "This one is the Messiah." Others were saying, "Can the Messiah come from Galilee?" 42. Has not the scripture said that the Messiah is coming from the seed of David and from Bethlehem, the village of David? 43. And there was division among the crowd because of him. 44. And there were people among them who wanted to seize him, but no man put hands on him. 45. And those guards came to the chief priests, and the Pharisees and the priests said to them, Why have you not brought him? 46. The guards were saying to them, Never in this way has a man spoken as this man speaks. 47. The Pharisees were saying to them, Have you also been deceived? 48. Have men of the leaders or of the Pharisees trusted in him? 49. However, this people who do not know the written law are damned. 50. Nicodemus said to them, He is one of them who had come to Yeshua at night. 51. Does our written law condemn a man unless one shall hear him first and know what he has done? 52. They answered and said to him, Are you also from Galilee? Search and see that a prophet will not arise from Galilee. 53. Then everyone went to his house.
Revelations 4. OANT. And after these things I saw, and behold, a door opened in heaven, and a voice which I heard like a trumpet speaking with me, saying, Come up here, and I will show you what is ever is granted to happen after these things. And at once I saw in the Spirit, and behold, a throne fixed in heaven, and upon a throne he sat. And he who sat was as a likeness of appearance of jasper, red quartz, stone, and of red and white sardius. And the rainbow of the clouds which encircled the throne was like the appearance of an emerald. And around the throne 24 thrones. Upon those thrones 24 elders, who sat wearing white garments, crowns of gold upon their heads. And from the throne proceeded thunders, lightnings, and voices. 7 lamps were burning before that throne, which were the 7 spirits of Elohim. Before that throne a sea of glass as the likeness of crystal, and in the midst of the throne, and around the throne, 4 beasts that were full of eyes, front and back. The first beast was like a lion, the second had the likeness of a calf, the third beast was a face of a man, and the fourth beast the likeness of a flying eagle. Each one of these 4 beasts stood and had from its appendages and over its 6 surrounding wings, and from within they are full of eyes, and are not silent day or night, saying, Holy, 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 Lord YEHOVAH Elohim Almighty, who was and is to come. And when these 4 beasts give glory and honor and thanks to him who sits upon the throne, and to the one living to eternity for eternities. Amen. The 24 elders fall down in front of him who sit upon the throne, and worship the living one for eternity of eternities. Amen. They cast their crowns before the throne, saying, You are worthy, O Lord, and our Elohim, to receive the glory and honor and power, because you have created all things. By your pleasure they exist and were created.
Deuteronomy 9. Septuagint. Hear, O Israel, thou goest this day across Jordan to inherit nations greater than and stronger than yourselves, cities great and walled up to heaven, a people great and many and tall, the sons of Enoch, whom thou knowest, and concerning whom thou hast heard, saying, Who can stand before the children of Enoch? And thou knowest not today that the Lord thy God shall go before thy face. He is consuming fire. He shall destroy them, and he shall turn them back before thee, and shall destroy them quickly, as the Lord said to thee. Speak not in thine heart, when the Lord thy God has destroyed these nations before thy face, saying, My righteousness, the Lord brought me in to inherit the good land. Not for thy righteousnesses, nor for the holiness of thine heart, doth thou go in to inherit their land. But because of the wickedness of these nations the Lord will destroy them from before thee, and that he may establish the covenant which the Lord sware to our fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. And thou shalt know today that it is not for thy righteousnesses the Lord thy God gives thee this good land to inherit, for thou art a stiff-necked people. Remember, forget not, how much thou provokest the Lord thy God in the wilderness, from the day that you came forth out of Egypt, till you have come into this place. Ye continued to be disobedient towards the Lord. Also in Horeb ye provoked the Lord, and the Lord was angry with you, to destroy you. And when I went up into the mountains to receive the tables of stone, the tables of the covenant, which the Lord made with you, and I was in the mountain 40 days and 40 nights, I ate no bread and drank no water. And the Lord gave me the 2 tables of stone written with the fingerprints of God, and on them there has been written the words which the Lord spoke to you in the mountain in the day of the assembly. And it came to pass after 40 days and 40 nights, the Lord gave me the 2 tables of stone, the tables of the covenant. And the Lord said to me, Arise, go down quickly from hence, and thy people who thou broughtest out of the land of Egypt have transgressed. They have gone aside quickly out of the way which I commanded them, and have made themselves a molten image. And the Lord spoke to me, saying, I have spoken to thee once and again, saying, I have seen this people, and behold, it is a stiff-necked people. And now suffer me utterly to destroy them, and will blot them out their name under heaven, and will make of thee a nation greater and strong, and more numerous than this. And I turned and went down from the mountain, and the mountain burned with fire from heaven, and the 2 tables of testimonies were in my hands. And then I saw that you have sinned against the Lord your God, and made yourselves a molten image, and had gone astray out of the way which the Lord commanded you to keep. Then I took hold of the 2 tables, and cast them out of my 2 hands, and broke them before you. And I made my petition before the Lord, as also in the first 40 days and 40 nights. I ate no bread and drank no water, on account of all your sins which ye sinned in doing evil before the Lord to provoke you. And I was greatly terrified because of the wrath and anger, because the Lord was provoked with you utterly to destroy you. Yet the Lord hearkened to me at this time also. He was angry with Aaron to destroy him utterly, and I prayed for Aaron also at that time. And your sin, which ye had made, even the calf, I took and burned it with fire, and pounded it and ground it down till it became fine, and it became like dust. And I cast the dust into the brook that descended from the mountain. Also in the burning, in the temptations, and the graves of lust, ye provoked the Lord. And when the Lord sent forth from Kadesh Barnea, saying, Go up and inherit the land which I gave to you, then ye disobeyed the word of the Lord your God, and believed him not, and hearkened not to his voice. Ye were disobedient in the things related to the Lord, from the day in which he became known to you. I prayed before the Lord 40 days and 40 nights, the number that I prayed before, for the Lord said that he would utterly destroy you. I prayed to God and said, O Lord, King of gods, destroy not thy people and thine inheritance, whom thou didst redeem, whom thou broughtest out of the land of Egypt, with thy great and power, and with thy strong hand, and with a high arm. Remember Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, thy servants, to whom thou sworest by themselves. Look not upon the hardness of the heart of this people, and their impieties, and their sins, lest the inhabitants of the land whence thou broughtest out speak, saying, Because the Lord could not bring them into the land which he spoke to them, and because he hated them, has he brought them forth to slay them in the wilderness? And these are thy people, and thy portion, whom thou broughtest out of the land of Egypt, with a great strength, and with a mighty hand, and with a high hand.
Ezekiel 28, Septuagint. And the word of Jehovah came to me, saying, And thou, son of man, say to the prince of Tyrus, Thus saith Jehovah, because thine heart has been exalted, and thou hast said, I am Jehovah, I am Elo-heem, I have inhabited the dwellings of Elo-heem in the heart of the sea. Yet thou art man, and not Elo-heem. Thou hast set thine heart in the heart of Elo-heem. Art thou wiser than Daniel? Or have not the wise instructed thee with their knowledge? Hast thou gained power for thyself to thy own acknowledgement, and thy own prudence, and gotten gold and silver in thy treasures? By thy abundant knowledge and traffic thou hast multiplied thy power. Thy heart has been lifted up by the power. Thus, therefore, saith Jehovah, since thou hast set thine heart upon the heart of Elo-heem, because of this, behold, I will bring on thee strange plagues from the nations, and they shall draw their swords against thee, and against the beauty of thy knowledge. And they shall bring down thy beauty to destruction, and they shall bring thee down, and thou shalt die a death of the slain of the heart of the sea. Wilt thou indeed say, I am Elo-heem, before them that slay thee? Whereas thou art man, and yet you are not Elohim. Thou shalt perish by the hands of strangers, among the multitude of the uncircumcised. For I have spoken it, saith Jehovah. And the word of Jehovah came to me, saying, Son of man, take a lamentation for the prince of Tyre, and say unto him, Thus saith Jehovah thy Elohim, Thou art a seal of a resemblance, and a crown of beauty. Thou wast in the delight of the paradise of Elohim. But thou hast bound upon thee every precious stone, sardis, topaz, emerald, carbuncle, and sapphire, jasper, silver, and gold, and ligure, and agate, and amethyst, and chrysolite, and beryl, and onyx, and thou hast filled thy treasures and thy stores in thee with gold. And the day that thou wast created, thou wast with the cherub. I set thee on the holy mountain of Elohim. Thou wast in the midst of the stones of fire. Thou wast faultless in thy days, and the day that thou wast created, until iniquity was found in thee. Of the abundance of the merchandise thou hast filled thy storehouse with iniquity, and thou hast sinned. Therefore thou hast been cast down wounded with the mount of Elohim, and the cherub was brought thee out of the midst of the stones of fire. Thy heart has been filled up because of thy beauty. Thy knowledge has been corrupted with thy beauty. Because of the multitude of thy sins I have cast thee into the ground, and I have caused thee to be put to open shame before kings. Because of the multitude of thy sins, and the iniquities of thy merchandise, I have profaned thy sacred things, and I will bring fire out of the midst of thee. This shall devour thee, and I will make thee to be ashes upon the land before the see thee. And all that know thee among the nations shall groan over thee. Thou art gone to destruction, and shalt not exist any more. The word of Jehovah came to me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Sidon, and prophesy against it. And say, Thus saith Jehovah, Behold, I am against thee, O Sidon, and I will be glorified in thee. And thou shalt know that I am Jehovah, when I have wrought judgments in thee, and I shall be sanctified in thee. Blood and death shall be in thy streets, and men wounded with swords shall fall in thee, on every side of thee, and they shall know that I am Jehovah. And there shall no more be in the house of Israel a thorn of bitterness, and a pricking briar, proceeding from them that are round about them, who dishonor them, and they shall know that I am Jehovah. And thus saith Jehovah your Elohim, I will also gather Israel from the nations, among those who have been scattered, and I will be sanctified among them, and before the peoples and the nations, and they shall dwell upon their land, which I give to my servant Jacob. Yea, they shall dwell upon it safely, and they shall build houses and plant vineyards, dwell securely, when I shall execute judgment on all that have dishonored them, even on those that are round about them, and they shall know that I am Jehovah their Elohim, and Elohim of their fathers. Ezekiel 29, Septuagint. In the 12th year, in the 10th month, on the first day of the month, the word of Jehovah came to me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Pharaoh king of Egypt, and prophesy against him and against the whole of Egypt, and say, Thus saith Jehovah, Behold, I am against Pharaoh, the great dragon that lies in the midst of his river, and says, The river are mine, and I made them. I will put hooks in thy jaws, and I will cause the fish of thy river to stick to thy sides, and I will bring thee up out of the midst of the river. And I will quickly cast down thee, and all the fish of thy river. Thou shalt fall on the face of the plain, and shalt by no means be gathered, and shalt not be brought together. I have given thee for food to the wild beasts of the earth, and for the fowls of the sky. And all that dwellers in Egypt shall know that I am Jehovah, because thou hast been a staff of reed to the house of Israel. And when they took hold of thee with their hand, they didst break, and when every hand had clapped against them, and when they leaned on thee, thou wast utterly broken, and did crush the loins of all them. Therefore thus saith Elohim, Behold, I will bring a sword upon thee, and will cut off from thee man and beast. And the land of the Egypt shall be ruined and desert, and they shall know that I am Elohim, because thou sayest, The rivers are mine, and I made them. Therefore, behold, I am against thee, and against all thy rivers, And I will give up the land of Egypt for desolation, and the sword, and destruction, and Magdal, and Sarin, even to the borders of the Ethiopians. No foot of man shall pass through it, and no foot of beast shall pass through it, and it shall not be inhabited for 40 years. I will cause her land to be utterly destroyed in the midst of the land that is desolate, and her cities shall be desolate 40 years in the midst of the cities that are desolate. And I will disperse Egypt among the nations, and I will utterly scatter them into the countries. Thus saith Elohim, after 40 years I gather the Egyptians from the nations from among whom they have been scattered. And I will turn the captivity of the Egyptians, and will cause them to dwell in the land of Pharaoh, in the land whence they were taken. And it shall be a base kingdom beyond all other kingdoms. It shall no more be exalted over the nations, and I will make them few in number, and they will not be great amongst the nations. And they shall no more be to the house of Israel a confidence, bringing iniquity to remembrance, when they follow after them, and they shall know that I am Elohim. And it shall come to pass in the 20th year, on the first day of the month, the word of YEHOVAH came to me, Son of man, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, caused his army to serve a great service against Tyre. Every head was bald, and every shoulder peeled. Yet there was no reward for him, or for his army serving against Tyre, nor for the service wherewith they served against it. Thus saith Elohim, thus saith YEHOVAH Elohim. Behold, I will give to Nebuchadnezzar, king of the Babylonians, the land of Egypt, and he shall take the plunder thereof, and seize the spoils thereof, and it shall be a reward for his army. In return for his service wherewith he served against Tyre, I have given him the land of Egypt. Thus saith YEHOVAH Elohim. In the day shall a horn spring forth out of the house of Israel, and I will give thee an open mouth in the midst of them, and they shall know that I am YEHOVAH.
Proverbs 11. Septuagint. False balances are the abomination before Jehovah, but a just weight is acceptable unto him. Wherever pride enters, there is also disgrace, but the mouth of the lowly meditates wisdom. When a just man dies, he leaves regret, but the destruction of the ungodly is speed and causes joy. Righteousness traces out blameless paths, but ungodliness encounters unjust dealings. The righteousness of upright men deliver them, but transgressors are caught in their own destruction. At the death of a just man his hope does not perish, but the boast of the ungodly perishes. A righteous man escapes from a snare, and the ungodly man is delivered up in his place. In the mouth of an ungodly man is a snare to citizens, but the understanding of righteous men is prosperous. In the prosperity of righteous men a city prospers, but the mouth of ungodly men is overthrown. A man void of understanding sneers at his fellow citizens, but a sensible man is quiet. A double-tongued man discloses the secret counsels of an assembly, but he that is faithful in spirit conceals matters. But they have no guidance, fall like leaves, but in much counsel there is safety. A bad man does harm whenever he meets a just man, and he hates the sound of safety. A gracious wife brings glory to her husband, but a woman hating righteousness is a theme of dishonor. The slothful come to want, but the diligent support themselves in wealth. A merciful man does good in his own soul, but the merciless destroys his own body. Ungodly man performs unrighteous works, but the seed of the righteous is a reward of truth. A righteous son is born for life, but the persecution of the ungodly ends in death. Perverse ways are the abomination of Jehovah, but all that they hate that they are blameless, and the ways are acceptable to him. He that unjustly strikes hands shall not be unpunished, but he that sows righteousness, he shall receive a faithful reward. As an ornament in a swine's snout, so is beauty in an ill-minded woman. All the desire of righteousness is good, but the hope of the ungodly shall perish. There are some who scatter their own, and make it more, and there are some also who gather, yet make less. Every sincere soul is blessed, but a passionate man is not graceful. May he that hoards corn leave it to the nation, but blessed be on the head of him that gives it. He that devises good counsel seeks good favor, but for him that seeks after evil, evil shall overtake him. He that trusts in wealth shall fail, but he that helps righteous men arise shall. He that dwells or deals not graciously with his own house shall inherit the wind, and the fool shall be a servant to the wise. Out of the fruit of righteousness grows a tree of life, but the souls of transgressors are cut off before their time. If the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear?